All right. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. I just want to hit a couple of things. Tonight, the Ultimate Fighter Season 14 screening for the media is tonight. Any of you that want to go, it's from 6 to 8. Bisbing and Miller will both be there. And it's exclusive to the media and other special guests at the Paramount Theater tonight. So you guys want to go check that out, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to get right into this thing. We don't need to talk about this. You know what's going on Saturday night. I'm pumped for this fight. Who's got the first question?
Gentlemen, from England. Nice to be here in the spiritual birthplace of the UFC again. Can I ask Quinton Rampage Jackson, please? Quinton, the talk around the terraces is that people are saying that John Jones is saying that you don't have any tools to be able to take him on. What's your answer to that?
Well, I'm glad John Jones underestimated me. Yeah, he'll be very surprised come Saturday.
Can you talk us a little bit through your camp and why this has been the best camp of your career, please?
I think this has been the best camp of my career because I was very motivated. You know, Muscle Farm have a great facility, and once I saw the gym, you know, I was already motivated, but once I saw the gym, you know what I'm saying, I was very excited to train there. It's like state of the art, and it was really cool. You know, I like technology and stuff like that. It was a really cool gym, and I haven't been this motivated in a long time.
Can I ask John Jones if you are underestimating Rampage, and if so, why?
Absolutely. And Garth, I thought it was funny you asked that question because I'm positive that I've never stated that Rampage doesn't have the tools to beat me. I've never stated that in any of my interviews leading up to this fight. And I'm not underestimating Rampage at all. I mean, he's a unified champion who's knocked out some of the best fighters in the sport. That would be a very, very ignorant thing for me to do, to underestimate somebody with such a great record and such a great status.
Hey guys, welcome to Denver. Ron Kruk with Inside MMA. I spoke with all you about coming back here and fighting in Denver where the UFC was born, everyone except Josh. So Josh, I'd like to ask you your thoughts. I don't know if you're a big history guy, but what does it mean to you to come to the Pepsi Center in Denver where the UFC was born and fight here?
You know, when the UFC first came out in the '93, I didn't even know what it was. So to be honest with you, I didn't know really what UFC was until maybe 2003, 2004. So for me, you know, it's cool to be a part of the history of coming back here, definitely. You know, I took this fight on short notice, and, you know, I've been training, so I'm well prepared. And I just want to say that, you know, I'd like to thank Matt Hughes and the UFC for putting this fight together and stepping up and you know, bringing me here and letting me be a part of this history. So thanks.
One quick question for Matt Hughes. Matt, you brought in some big-name fighters for this training camp. Would you name them and why you decided to bring in some of those guys as you prepared?
As always, I brought Jeremy Horn in, ground technician Robbie Lawler. He's the wrestler of the bunch. Pat Miletich, all-around guy. BJ Penn, DeMarcus Johnson. Just a bunch of guys. I always like to, I'm sure I'm not the only fighter, I like to travel with like a family. And the more guys I got around me, the better off I am and the more I'm concentrated on what's going on. I hate not having somebody around, to be honest. So the more guys I got with me, the happier I am.
Who will be in your corner?
3 cornermen will be, 4 cornermen, Robbie Lawler, Matt Pena, Jeremy Horn, and Pat Miletich.
Joe Farrar from Rogers Sportsnet. Question for John, Dana, and Rampage. Rampage, I'll start with you. You've been around the sport for a very long time. Are you surprised that there's so many people that are not giving you enough credit heading into this title fight?
No, I'm not surprised at all. You know, the one thing about me is that, you know, I can care less about stuff like that, but that's one of the things that motivates me. I was counted out when I was facing Chuck Liddell in the UFC and Vanderlei Silva, and those are the type of things that makes me train harder and rise to the occasion. On that, I'm not surprised at all. A lot of people want me to lose this fight, but you know what I'm saying, that gives me more power.
And in fighting a guy like Johnny Bones Jones, is there anyone of the long list of opponents that you faced in the past that you can draw some sort of similarity, saying, yeah, you know what, I fought a guy like this before?
Well, you know, John is he's very unique with a lot of stuff he does, but you know, and he's a great wrestler, but I fought great wrestlers, and his stand-up is okay, and I fought great stand-up guys. I fought a tall guy in K1 with longer reach than me, and Chuck Liddell had longer reach. And I don't really think his jiu-jitsu skills is extraordinary. So, I'm ready for everything. You know, he's a creative kid, but I prepare for everything. So I just be happy to get in there Saturday and get ready for the fight.
Johnny, for yourself, I'm just wondering, one of the things coming into this fight, a lot of the media and the fans and the pundits are saying Johnny's never been rocked before, and it's something that's very sort of difficult to do sometimes in sparring. What do you say to those critics that say, you know what, if you get rocked by Rampage, beat a left hook or a right hook, you may lose that title?
Right. Well, I think a big part of getting knocked out, it comes more and more with the older guys in the sport. No offense to any of them, but you know, it's just the way the human brain works and the body works. At the accumulation of hits throughout your career, your ability to take punches start to go away slowly but surely. And I'm in the beginning of my career. You know, I'm a 24-year-old guy, still growing pubic hair, and and I think I have a very fresh armpit hair, guys. Stop. I think I have a very fresh chin. I really do. I have a fresh chin, and I have a fresh passion and a fresh heart, and I think that's gonna, you know, get me out of a lot of things. I have the passion to not want to get hit, let alone think about losing a fight. You know, I don't even like to get hit. So I train my butt off, and that's why my chin is rarely tested in the octagon, because of how serious I take this sport. You know, I focus on things like evading and slipping and countering and distance. And distance. And I haven't disrespected you, have I? So
not today. Not today.
So that's the reason why.
And Dana, a question for you. It's almost like there's people out there that are saying that this is UFC 69 all over again, GSP, Matt Serra, that if Quentin pulls this off, it'll be one of the greatest upsets of all time. And we're also on the beginning of the John Bones Jones era. Can you talk about the fight in that manner?
I don't think that. I don't think that if Quentin wins, it's the biggest upset in UFC history. That's insane. I mean, anybody who would say something like that is out of their mind. Rampage he said it earlier, he's been here for a long time. He's fought all the best in the world, you know, overseas, here, everywhere else. You know, I think one of the things that people always had talked about Quentin in the past was his lack of motivation. How hard did he train for a fight? How serious did he take a fight? But to say that he's, you know, that this would be the biggest upset in UFC history is insane.
I agree.
Matt Sierra with MMA Down, and it's really a question for the entire panel. Triple H, actor slash pretender slash professional fighter or wrestler, has said that MMA as a sport needs to evolve like WWE did, and often the fights are long, boring, and it's just a bunch of guys lying down, or they end too fast. How do you guys respond to something like that coming from another athlete like that?
I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, think about how many jiu-jitsu dojos there is who absolutely love to see a greatly executed guard pass. Or think about the whole culture of wrestling, the #1 sport, I mean, the first sport that was ever invented, wrestling. There's a whole nation, there's a whole society that loves to see beautiful takedowns executed. So for people to say jiu-jitsu and wrestling and fighting a ground match is horrible, I tell them to go watch K1.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. His father-in-law is starting to let him talk in public now. He'll get better at it, don't worry.
Oh, don't go watch K1. Sorry.
He'll stop saying stupid shit soon.
Now, John Jones, when you fought Rua, you had an opportunity to play the hero role when you stopped a mugging from happening. Do you feel that this Denver atmosphere is going to allow you a chance to focus more on your fight and not so much on saving people's lives?
One more time?
Last time you fought Rua, you saved a woman from a mugging. Do you
Right.
feel that being in Denver and being around this type of atmosphere that you're going to be able to focus more on fighting and a little bit less on being the hero?
Yeah, well, I definitely wasn't trying to focus on doing that. It's just something that happened. I was in the right place at the right time. And yeah, I'm definitely focused on this fight as much as I know how to.
Hey, Rampage, it's D-Mac from 104.3 The Fan here in Denver. John was making it sound like you're old, your brain's not working right, you're slow, he's young, that sort of thing. How would you respond to
Why
that?
are you trying to misconstrue my words?
You, sir, are an instigator.
Yes, you are.
I was
Gotta
getting
make a living.
I was getting the same feeling that he was getting. He was hitting the nail on the head. You know what I'm saying? He can think whatever he wants to think. You know, John Jones can talk all he wants. Like, the kid has really. I looked at him. He hadn't really fought anybody. For him to be talking like that, the kid don't got the type of experience.
Don't you think that's disrespectful to Shogun?
You know, Shogun is the toughest guy he fought. and he was rusted and coming off an injury. Come on, we all saw Shogun when he first came to
I
the
just saw
UFC.
Shogun beat
And when
Forrest Griffin.
I saw Shogun lose to Forrest Griffin the same way he
I
lost
saw
to
you lose to Forrest Griffin as well.
Yeah, I saw me lose to Forrest Griffin as well too. But I'm gonna see me winning on Saturday. That's all that count. That's all that count.
That's a good winning mindset.
Hey, I'm talking right now. Shut your young ass up.
Sorry, sir.
So let John do all this talking. I do most of my talking in the octagon. We'll see, you know what I'm saying, how the old man get down. This guy's never went past the championship rounds. I've been there before. You know what I'm saying? It take a champion to come in the 4th round, 5th round fresh and still destroy your opponent. I don't think he got the ass to do it.
You got Brandon Cristal, 104.3 The Fan here in Denver. Rampage, you talked about what's your opinion of Denver? You're getting ready for the fight. What's your take on the city?
I like Denver. I was very surprised of all the MMA fans here. I wish I wasn't so much in fight mode when I was meeting them, because a lot of times, you know, I go out to eat or go to the mall or something like that, and I meet a lot of fans, kind of caught me off guard and stuff like that. But Denver is a cool place, man. I went to the zoo and hung out in the zoo. I made a friend at the zoo. Little monkey looked like little John Jones. He was pop locking and everything. You know what I'm saying? He even had the pubic hair on his face just like Jones. I was like, man, you know. It was a cool little monkey, you know. I like Denver. I'll be back.
I got a question for Josh. Question for Josh. You know, everyone thought that you were going to be a middleweight for your next fight, and this opportunity came up fighting Matt Hughes. For a long time. What is your feeling moving forward? I mean, we've seen guys in a title fight come up short, move a division. That's kind of was where you were headed. Are you going to look at a win over Matt Hughes as possible?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to go up and just have a couple of fights is because of the fact that everybody at welterweight was just tied up. You know, St. Pierre, I'm not going to be fighting him for any time any soon. You know, all the top guys were tied up. So I thought that, you know what, I was like, you know, what's going to give me some motivation to train hard and get in the gym? And I was like, man, I need to find a big fight. So we were asking for a number of fighters, and you know, in the 185-pound division, just because I wanted to, you know, have motivation to get in there and train and, you know, come back and have a good, exciting fight. So, you know, I think Chris Lieben was one of the guys that we asked for, and Vanderlei Silva was the second guy. So, you know, I mean, nothing against those guys. They're good fighters, and you know, I just thought it would be fun for the fans and give me some motivation to train. As for, you know, taking this fight with Matt Hughes, you know, this is a fight that should have happened a long time ago, I felt. So, you know, I'm not sure why. I've asked for it, you know, a number of times, and I'm not sure why he never accepted it. So, or it's never been offered to him. So. You know, here it is now. You know, Saturday night we get to you know, settle the score and, you know, figure out you know, where my place is going to be and where his place is going to be in the history of the UFC. So.
Were you finding it difficult at all to find motivation after losing a title? Is it tough to get back in and because I mean that's such a clear goal, and when that's over, were you finding it tough to be motivated?
No, you know, I'm always motivated to test myself as a fighter, as a person, and you know, what a great test I have Saturday. You know, taking this fight on 19 days notice, and you know, I like to test myself, and you know, I'm one of those guys that will step up, and you know, I've said it a million times that I'll fight anybody, anytime, any place. So. You know, and I think that I've proven that, and I've proven it again by coming in here Saturday night and taking this fight on short notice. So regardless of the training, I've been training, you know, for 4 or 5 months leading up to this fight, and you know, I've helped all the Strikeforce guys, you know, Cormier and you know, King Mo and Luke Rockhold get ready for their fights. So I've been training. So you know, I don't feel that you know, I'm taking the fight on 19 days notice. So you know, because I've been in camp. So I'm ready to go. I'm in shape, and I'm looking forward to, you know, getting a big win. So.
My last question in regards to the weight class you'll be fighting in. I mean, we hear from like a guy like George who says he would want 4 to 6 months to put on the weight. Is your body more flexible? I mean, can you kind of go where the big fights are, depending on which?
Yeah, I mean, I walk around usually around like 193 to 197. So, you know, I'm pretty big. You know, I'm a little shorter for 185, but I think with the wrestling skills I have, I think it could be some good fun matchups for me there. So, you know.
And Dana, just real quickly, do you have an opinion on that? I mean, you let fighters choose which weight division they want to be in. I mean, for Josh specifically, what do you think?
Yeah, I think as long as they belong in that weight division, I think he could go to 85. I don't disagree with him. I think he's a little short for that weight class. I mean, some of these guys are cutting down from 210 to 215. So, but yeah, I'm comfortable with him at 85.
Well, right now I'm focused on, Saturday night. I'm not worried about 185 or, fighting, whoever. It's Matt Hughes on Saturday night. That's who I have, and that's where my focus has been for the last 19 days. And, it's a big opportunity, So I know this is Matt's last fight on his contract, and, I'm sure he wants to go out. If he chooses to retire after this, he wants to go out with a win. So I'm sure he's trained hard, facing Diego, and, now it's me. So I'm a little bit different fighter than Diego. So I think that, the 19 days notice that I had is as well as him. So I think that he has a lot of things to prep for me just as well as he was prepping for Diego. So, yeah, this is going to be a good, fun fight. I'm a little antsy up here because usually my fights have all the drama. This one here doesn't have, this fight isn't having as much drama as these two guys over here. So this is a little different scene for me.
Right here, Karen Bryan from MMA Heat. This is for you, Dana. You spoke at the Fox presser about how there's still a lot of education that needs to be done for the fans. Obviously, this fight is not on Fox yet, but every fight leading up to the Fox show, I feel like, is more important now in terms of putting forth a good image for the sport and getting butts in the seats, watching more and stuff. So how do you feel that John and Rampage, maybe with their Hollywood background, John's got the Bud Light commercials, Rampage has had movies, how do you think this is helping to advance the sport and position you better for when you do get to Fox?
Well, I think, every day as we get close, we work hard and work hard and work hard and get closer and closer and closer to building this thing up to what we think it can be. This John Jones Rampage fight is a breakthrough fight. It's a big fight. It's one that, you have the fights that we'll do that casual fans and maybe some other people get into, and then you have the fights that everybody is interested in. I mean, I've had everybody from, you name it, blowing me up and want to fly into plus the fact that celebrities are coming to Denver. It's easy to go to Vegas or Southern Cal and things like that, but this is a big fight. This is a breakthrough fight.
And
this
so
is
do you
one
think,
that people care about.
Well, yeah, that the winner of this one, that their next fight could be one that would be on Fox?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I want to get through the first one first.
Luke Thomas here with SB Nation. A couple questions for Josh. Josh, given the extent of the eye injury that you suffered against George St. Pierre, were there any unique difficulties sort of getting back on the horse in terms of striking when you resumed training?
No, not really. I, went right back into training. I saw a couple of eye doctors, and they said everything's good, and yeah, just went right back in there and started grinding. So, I've been injured before. I had a fusion in my neck, in wrestling, and I'd never had any difficulties coming back from an injury.
There are promotional opportunities for you at 170 or 185, but if you had to evaluate talent, in your judgment, which division is more stacked?
It's hard to assume. There's a lot of good guys at 185 and, as well as 170, The reason why I wanted to go to 185 was just because there was nobody at 170 that really caught my eye and motivated me to fight, So, everybody was tied up. So that's the only reason I was like, shoot, what am I going to do in November? Am I going to fight somebody who's not well known? That just doesn't give me the motivation to go out there and train. I've been fighting for the UFC since the Ultimate Fighter 1, so it's been quite a while. And I want big fights. And when I got the call for Matt Hughes, I want big names. Big fights. So I was like, shoot, Matt Hughes, yeah, I've been asking that fight for a long time. Let's do it.
And that's the origin of why you want the Hughes fight, is because of his name and his stature in the sport?
Yeah, well, he's a tough opponent as well. It just isn't because he has a big name. He's been around. He's a former UFC champion at 170. So, why not? Why not test myself with a guy that's been there and done that?
For Matt over here, how's it going? Is it accurate that this was a fight that didn't interest you? Obviously, Josh was campaigning for it for a while, but is it true that you just weren't, all that interested in fighting him for all those years?
Probably a question for Dana.
Yeah, Matt Hughes has never not been interested in anything. I mean, even fights that I've called him in the past, and I've talked about this before, there was nothing he was more or less interested in than the second fight with Frank Trigg. Those two hated each other. He'd already destroyed him in the first fight by standing rear naked choke, and his thing was, I'm never going to beat him more impressively than I did the first time. But he took the fight. Never called Matt Hughes and had Matt Hughes go, I don't want to do this fight, or I'm not interested. Never. In almost, in over 10 years of being in business together, never called Matt Hughes. And
I just never got called for the fight. So, I mean, Josh isn't the first one that called me out, wanting to fight me. So, I mean, just one of the guys wanting to fight me, and whatever the UFC wants to put together for the fans is what's going to happen.
And have you made a decision whether or not this will be your last fight?
No.
It will depend on what happens on Saturday night?
I don't know if I would say that. I'm just going to talk with the UFC after this, and we'll see. I mean, I'm 37. I was the guy this guy was talking about 5 minutes ago about being older. And,
Sorry, man.
And this and that. So, I just want to see what's going on. I don't want to be in my 40s and fighting. I just don't. About to be 38, so we'll just see what's going to go on. I'm not going to sign another 4-fight deal for sure.
Thank you.
Doesn't Matt still look good for fighting for so many years, guys? Give it up for Matt. Oh, you did it. Sweet.
Thank you.
For John. John, how much has your life changed, if at all, since winning the belt?
It hasn't changed at all. It hasn't changed at all. I just expect more for myself now in training. I try to do extra. I try to, I train with Greg Jackson's martial arts, and there's a lot of elite athletes involved with that program. And I try to make it a point to believe that I'm eating the healthiest, I'm training the hardest. I'm running up the sprints the fastest. I'm really trying to make sure I'm the best of the best. So I just expect more for myself now. But everything else is the same. Same people, same coaches, same family, same everybody.
And I mean, this may have started with Rampage and Rashad, but it seems like those guys have said some things about you that you're cocky or fake, and it seems like some fans have maybe even latched on to that.
Yeah.
Has that bothered you at all?
No. As far as the fans latching onto that, it's when you got a guy with a huge following. Rashad and Rampage have huge followings, so they could say that I'm a vegan, and now I'm a vegan. It's just how it works. The fans latch onto what people say. It could have been any other words. For example, the fake comment is one that really I find funny because a lot of people don't even know me. So how do you call me fake, really? So I just go with it. I guess it's a part of my image now, and I think people will take it for what they believe. My intentions are well, and I know that I'm a good person. I know that I do the right things, and I work hard, and I believe in being very confident because that's the name of the sport. That's the name of the game. And, people can take it or leave it. So I still have a very strong support base, and a few people call me cocky, but strictly it's because what Rashad titled me is being that. It could have been any other word, like I said. So it's whatever.
We'll take one more question. Is there one more question? Right over here.
Hi, Fred the Chef from MMANorway.com. I wonder if you can confirm if Juno Ainamo is back in the UFC.
Is he?
Is he?
When's he coming back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, he is, but I don't know when he'll fight.
Oh, okay. And if UFC is coming to Sweden next year?
We've been talking about it.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Who's got questions? Fans, and we'll get a couple fan questions in here too.
DW, always good to the fans.
This Denver crowd is so reserved and so polite, man. I was in LA yesterday. It was nuts.
Josh, how many days did you say that you had to prepare for this fight?
Well, I got notice of the fight 19 days ago. So, from Saturday it'll be 19 days. But I've been training. I train with a lot of good guys at AK, and there's a lot of good talent there. And it's a fight 3 days a week when you're in that gym. So, when we spar Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm fighting 3 times a week. So, I'm well prepared for this fight, and I will never have any excuses after a fight. So, I'm going into this fight, winning this fight, in my mind. So, I prepared really well, and I think that Saturday night we're going to get to see a lot of good fights.
Well, like you said, you're much more tame this time around. So I didn't know if if 19 days wasn't enough for you to lob some bombs or run your mouth a little more.
Yeah, well,
thanks for the opportunity.
I'm not trying to disrespect Matt Hughes. He's been a good representative of the UFC and of this sport. So and plus 19 days, you really can't stir up too much in 19 days. So as much as I'd like to, just for the fun of it, but Matt's a good guy, and we have a lot in common. So I think that he's a well-respected fighter around the sport, and it's going to be a fun fight.
Dana, I'm Jaden. I want to introduce myself.
Hi.
I'm going to be the first UFC fighter.
Awesome. Can't wait.
First woman UFC fighter, at least.
I knew what you meant.
Rampage, is there going to be an A team too?
I'm not sure. I hope so. I like playing BA. He's a fun character to play.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's get some impression.
You're doing a good job, Mama Dad. She's so polite.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm a Cecil's People black belt.
Cool.
And I was wondering, what can I do to someday be a USC fighter?
Just keep training, buddy. Keep training in all the mixed martial arts and start fighting in the smaller shows here in Denver and work your way up maybe to the Ultimate Fighter or get onto one of the cards in the UFC.
And keep your good grades. Have good grades in school, too. That'll help you.
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Dalen Ware. My question is for Dana White. Do you know the weight classes or maybe when the tryouts are going to be for the next Ultimate Fighter?
It's a good question. I do not. We haven't, what? We haven't made that decision yet. We're still doing a lot of work putting this next season premiere tonight of The Ultimate Fighter on Spike TV will be the last one on Spike. Then we're moving to FX, and that format's going to be live. The show will actually be filmed live, so everything's going to completely change. We've been working on that, and then we'll figure out what weight class we'll do.
Okay. And my other question would be, I've shot up for the show twice. I think I did a really good job. Is there anything I can do to ensure a higher probability of me getting on the show?
Just keep trying out. There's guys who tried out 4 times and then finally made it onto the show. The more you show up, I think the more you learn. You're nervous the first time when you go up to tryouts, and especially the interview. Did you make it to the interview process?
No, I didn't.
Well, you want to get there first. You want to make it to the
Well, yeah, I'm wondering why I didn't. I still don't know.
Just keep training, man. Get that. What's real important, too, is your record. How many fights you have and what your record is. We like guys that have a lot of fights. You don't want to come into the UFC with just 3 fights, 4 fights.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Cool. Thank you.
Girl Afro and Diet Green.
We'll take one more question from the fans. The mic's over here. I'll answer that question. After Strikeforce, what? They're going to keep fighting on Strikeforce. Are you assuming that we're going to shut Strikeforce down? Is that what you're saying? Don't listen to the buzz. Who knows what's going to happen? The way that this thing works is it depends on Showtime. Ball's in their court. They're going to decide whether they want to keep Strikeforce around or not. We're not. They will. Well, the reason that I said that is because there aren't enough good women in each division to create an entire division. You can do one-off fights here and there, but to create an entire division, especially as much as we put on fights, I mean, we're going to do 34 fights next year. Wow. There aren't enough good women to create an entire division, which is the problem. But again, as the sport continues to grow and more people train in it, you're going to see a lot more women getting involved too. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
All right. I got a question for John Jones. My name's Derek Terrell. How do you see yourself finishing the fight?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
without giving out too much information or game plan. But.
Well, I definitely don't want to sit here and disrespect Rampage.
Go ahead, Jones. You've been doing it before.
You've been doing it too.
When you sit at night and imagine, how do you force yourself?
You've been doing it too.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and disrespect Rampage, but My personal goal is to be the first person to finish the fight. That hasn't happened in the UFC. I don't know how it's going to happen. I've been working my submissions.
It ain't going to happen.
I've been working my submissions. I've been working my stand-up. So anything can happen.
Are you guys good back there? Can everybody see in the back? Go down a little bit more, guys. Good? All right, perfect. Thank you. Everybody ready? Let me get Kosh check some things first.